don't feel right in this. You sure? Should be backwards? Is that cool? Well, here we go. I feel stupid. Sideways? I mean, if I'm going to be stupid, I don't know. Let me try something else. Do I have like a red line on my forehead? Yeah, I totally do. That hat. What do you think? It's just not me. So I'm supposed to do a red line still there. Yeah. That hat was tight. This feels so much better. And check it out. Hiding the red line. Right? I feel good in this. Alright, let's do this thing. So I'm going to do an honest review about RoofCon 2020. If you didn't go to RoofCon, shame on you. It was actually an excellent convention. Con! That's what con stands for. It's not, they weren't trying to swindle us. It was convention. Roof Convention 2020. It had its ups and downs though. So let me tell you where it failed and where it really succeeded. RoofCon took a completely different approach to the convention atmosphere and what they were trying to teach or educate contractors, roofers, hell, even PAs like myself about. It was an idea of showing someone that they can do this job with integrity and leave a legacy behind and really establish themselves with the right mentality as a business owner to do the right thing in certain situations, because that is what leads to real growth, positive success, and not an overnight burn themselves out and fail ultimately kind of a company. First day of RoofCon, Thursday night, I got there fairly early, which was great because I was able to do the Large Loss Lounge with Pate in the American Contractor Show set. This is an American Contractor Show t-shirt, and it's really comfortable, by the way. I don't know where they got this from, but I want them to send me a whole bunch. You hear that, John? I want more, please. So I got there fairly early. I honestly thought that there was going to be more happening Thursday. To be honest, there were a lot of meet and greets, but that's going to happen regardless of whether or not they have a meet and greet section set up by itself. So we met and greeted. We met and greeted everybody as they were coming in. We got to see all of the booths being set up. It was a fairly small venue. It was definitely not the size of Storm Ventures Group with Win the Storm. It wasn't the size of the Natural Disaster Expo. It was fairly small. And at first I thought, oh, I was hoping this was going to be something big. But I got to be honest, the fact that it was small made it so much better. So much better. Everything that I wanted to do, I was able to do. I was able to talk to every vendor at length and get into details about their thing. I was able to talk to every speaker and really try to understand what it is they were trying to portray. You can't do that at every convention. They get too big. They have too many people to talk to, and they can't give you personal attention. So when I noticed it was small, my initial reaction was the same initial reaction I think all of you would have, and that is that it's probably too small. Maybe I'm wasting my money here. But ultimately, it was the best possible atmosphere because of it. So on day 2, Friday, they opened the stage up. There were speakers going up. There was a lot of interesting talks, at least based on the titles. The audio was rough. It was very difficult to understand what they were saying, which is a real shame because there were a few people up there I really wanted to listen to. If I sat there and I focused really hard, I could make out what they were saying as long as I could see their lips. There were a few people in the front row which you had to pay extra for, that got good at reading lips that day. And they told me so. And if you got good at that, you could get a lot out of Friday's speeches. They were probably good. To be honest, I have no idea. They looked good on stage. But if they didn't fix that audio set, then this entire convention wouldn't have been worth it. They did, and I'll get to that. But Friday was kind of a disappointment for that reason. When you go to RoofCon, you can choose 3 different ticket options. You can choose the basic economy class type option where you get to attend the event, sit in with the speakers, see the breakout sessions. That's it. Then there is the VIP ticket, and the VIP gave you the ability to sit in closer rows. There was a VIP after party sponsored by Morgan & Morgan that you could attend. And you got a little bit of swag. I got a t-shirt, I got a neck gaiter and a bag and a sticker, and I even got a hat that my wife absolutely despises. I kind of like it, but it feels weird wearing it. The VIP ticket was $200 more, and based on how much fun we had at the VIP party, I think the VIP ticket was worth it. Then there was one step further. The platinum ticket was $500 more on top of the VIP ticket. With the platinum ticket, you got the front row seating, and then you got to have lunch with the industry leaders. So Friday, you're sitting in the front row, you can read the lips a little bit better. So anybody that had the platinum ticket was actually able to understand the speakers a little bit more. And then they got to have lunch. Now, I didn't go to this lunch. In this lunch, you were allowed to have 3 people per table. One of those had to be the speaker. I think that's how it worked. Or it was 3 others and the speaker. And each speaker had their own table, and you could have chosen who you wanted to sit with, first come, first serve. From the speakers that I talked to, they had a great time at the lunch, and they felt like it was really worthwhile. For the attendees that went to this, they had the same impression. It is always good to sit down with industry leaders and pick their brain a little bit. It's a great idea. It's a shame that it was such small groups, but again, just like the convention being small, that probably made it even better. Having less people to compete against to have a conversation means they probably had a better conversation. That platinum lunch was probably really successful. I wasn't there though, this is speculation. That night, Friday night, Morgan & Morgan had the VIP party at this place called The Event. And it was awesome. We bowled, we played laser tag after drinking a lot. We were playing billiards. There was an excellent buffet with some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had. They ran out of mac and cheese pretty early. That's a complaint I can make. Want some more of that mac and cheese. That was good mac and cheese. We got to have fun with our peers. And I don't know about you, but that's one of the best ways to really understand personality and how someone approaches things at those events. I always like to avoid talking about business in those settings. It's really easy to want to brag and to tell your war stories in those moments. And you can do that at any networking event. But when you're out there and you're having some drinks and you're having a good time, put that to the side, man. Part of this event was to teach you how to balance work life and fun living. And if you can't do that even at a fun event, then there's something wrong. They had karaoke. Some of the people that sang weren't bad. You know who you are. Drunk laser tag was the best. Drunk laser tag was awesome. And I got into a few wrestling matches with Hunter Beddow, and I still think I won that. Ultimately, I think that I won that wrestling match. He might say differently. I don't know, but yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Grown men were wrestling?
We had laser guns. It was a blast. After that, MMA had an after party at the Bottled Blonde club downtown that actually makes pizza as well. I didn't see the pizza. There were some other sites that were worth looking at. Bottle Blonde was a lot of fun. There was a lot more drinking going on. We were dancing. We were enjoying ourselves. Ultimately, you couldn't talk about business while you're there. It was too loud, and that's a good thing sometimes. Bottle Blonde was worth it. I really appreciate both Morgan & Morgan and MMA for putting on those additional events. They make networking a blast and definitely worth doing. So yeah, that was fantastic. That ends Saturday night, or Friday night. Everybody's pretty much drunk, and Saturday morning comes along. I got there right on time, and it was a ghost town. And the people that did end up showing up did have somewhat of a hangover. So part of the problem with having the fun night out when there's still more event to happen is that you don't have all your faculties there with you the next day, unless you can pace yourself. And when you're with your peers 3-4 times a year, it's hard to pace yourselves. So personally, I think what happened on Saturday, which by the way is the best day of the entire event, really should have been what we did on Friday. Saturday's audio was much better. We could hear the speakers. We could understand what they were saying. If you sat within this square of speakers, it made sense. And they were great talks. It wasn't giant oorah sessions. It was realistic. How do we set goals that are achievable? How do we leave a legacy behind? How do we change our business model to allow for us to have a life outside of it? That's something I struggle with all the time. This was good. It was really good. They had the breakout sessions. I was able to attend 3 of them. They had 3 different sections and several different speakers for each one. If you brought more than one person along with you, you could set individuals in each of the 3 or 4 breakout rooms for each session. So if you're going to go to RoofCon next year and they break it up the same way, bring 4 people all together so that every speaker gets listened to. Because if you don't, then you miss out on some really good talks. I ended up holding a door closed for TJ Ware's speech because one of the doorways in the wall was broken and you could hear the other speaker and it was kind of disrupting his talk. So I went onto the other side and I put my back against the wall, leaned against it to keep it shut. And unfortunately, the room that I was in was very empty. There was very few people in there listening to this speaker. And this was something put on by the Hail Trace guys. And it was an excellent talk. It talked about how you can use positive feedback to give good experiences to both your customers and employees in such a way that they remember you with a smile on your face. It was a great talk. Honestly, it was really good. And very few people saw it. I accidentally saw it. It was good. And I think the reason it was good is because the format that RoofCon put on inspired some of these speakers to have the right kind of talk, a different kind of session than what you're used to seeing at the other conventions. It was great. Saturday was the last day, and just like any other last day at any other event, the vendors try to get out as early as they can. Half the attendees leave early. And I think one of the best talks of the entire convention was the last one on stage. And it's a shame, but maybe a quarter of the people were still there. RoofCon was a good convention, and it was worth every penny, even without understanding what the speakers said on Friday. Even with the fact that we were somewhat hungover on Saturday, it was good because it was intimate and it was different. And I think that if you had gone, you would have gotten more out of that convention than any of the others that you might go to. That's my take on it anyway. I'm definitely going next year. I'll probably have a booth. If you guys have any questions about what happened at RoofCon, I can only tell you what my personal experience was, but I'm more than happy to share them further. Feel free to leave a comment below if you disagree. I'm sure there are people that would love to fight with you on it. It's a good place for that. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you can get notifications of all of our videos. We've got the Listen to This Bull series, the FYI, the Pubs and Policies. We have something coming up pretty regularly. So take a look into that and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.